Isn't it funny how things change? It's all topsy-turvy. It's all the opposite of what we thought was normal is now the norm. Solitary confinement was regarded as a punishment. Now it's a bit of a treat, really. The Prime Minister announced, suit and tie, apparently last night, you're all in solitary confinement for at least 3 weeks. Well, my heart sang. I've never felt so happy. It's a bit like the headmaster announcing school's out forever, and you can do whatever you like so long as you stay indoors and don't see anybody else, unless for essentials. Well, I don't know about you, but solitary confinement is not such a bad thing. It's got two directions to it, hasn't it? Solitary confinement. It's both a restriction and a freedom. Of course, it's a restriction of not seeing friends or family or lovers. It's a restriction in terms of not socialising. I haven't been to a coffee shop for a week or 10 days now. I'm surviving. And you will have your must-dos that I don't know, do you really miss them? It's interesting how quickly we adapt to changing circumstances. So there's a restriction to it. Can't get my hair cut. I can't buy the repair kit from the hardware store to clean the wall where I tripped and threw a cup of tea over the magnolia wall. The only wall. It all seems so superfluous when there's so much more at stake. And that's the point, isn't it? There's something bigger at stake than our own private little selves. And now we're all, whether we like it or not, in our own solitary confinements, we're all part of something larger and more important, which is to get society well. Well, actually, to get the planet well. There's a lovely clip that a friend Azim sent me yesterday, I think from the BBC, on how when the city goes silent, the birds sing, and the air that we breathe becomes clearer. In a way, by solitary confinement, we're healing not only ourselves, but the planet, it seems. I don't know if you've seen the satellite images over China where the outbreak started. And I think it's nitrous oxide. Oh no, that's laughing gas. There might be an outbreak of laughing gas as well. But nitrous oxide? No, nitric oxide. Anyway, a pollutant over in the air over China has almost disappeared in the past month or so. Every cloud has a silver lining, so they say. So there is that aspect of confinement being a restriction. But the other side of the coin is it's a new freedom. You are now given freedom to choose exactly how to live within your four walls. And to some, this is an overbearing freedom. That means you've actually got to create a life of the inside, which is scary for many of us. But for some, it's also a tremendous freedom, a sort of being let out of the confines of the garden. I remember I had an image of when I was a child, maybe 10 or 11, definitely short pants, so maybe a little earlier. And I was once asked what my idea of freedom was, and I saw myself as this kid in short pants and a butterfly net. It was actually one of those green cheap nets on a cane that you go scooping up minnows in the pond, in the local pond. That's what it was. But at the bottom of the garden at home, and there's a gate at the bottom of the garden which is normally shut, and I had this, my sense of freedom was being given permission. Now this is a very interesting one for me, maybe different for you. Being given permission to go beyond the gate and go and explore outside of the normal bounds. And this to me is what this lockdown, it's not a lockdown, it's a lockout, or it's an unlock out for me of being given permission by no less than the Prime Minister to create a life, a daily life of your own choosing. And if you are employed and being laid off, I'm not sure exactly what the arrangements are, your employer will get, I believe it's 80% of your wages, so that they don't have to shed staff. So there are all sorts of ways in which this very new regime of solitary confinement can be a blessing in disguise. I, for one, will be. This is only the second morning that I've gone for a little run. The River Wye and the 17th century Packhorse Bridge is just here, and when I get back I shall have my porridge, bananas and honey, and see what the day brings. Probably making and editing more videos. Whatever you get up to, enjoy your solitary confinement. It's a blessing, not a punishment. Ciao.